Breaking news, big headlines coming straight out of Halas Hall today. Chicago Bears rookie quarterback Caleb Williams has just been named the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. This is a huge moment, not only for Williams, but for the entire Bears organization. Why is this so special? Because the Bears have been facing off against the last two winners of this same award, and now, the script has flipped. This time, it's Chicago's own quarterback taking center stage. Before we dive deeper into this story and the latest news around the team, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and don't forget to turn on the bell icon, that way you never miss a single update on your Chicago Bears. Now, let's get back to it. For the first time since 2013, a Bears quarterback has taken home this honor. Caleb Williams delivered a performance so impressive, it silenced critics and even outshined his former head coach on the opposite sideline. Third time's the charm, and Williams made sure everyone knew it's his turn. And here's what makes it even more exciting, this doesn't feel like a one-time thing. Week by week, Williams keeps getting better. The film looks sharper, the chemistry with his teammates is growing, and the offense under Ben Johnson is starting to click in ways Chicago hasn't seen in years. Just look at the numbers, the Bears rank 9th in points per game and 10th in total yards, their best offensive standing since 2013. Folks, this is not just a win for Caleb Williams. It's a signal that the Bears might finally be turning the corner. Caleb Williams didn't just win an award, he earned it with one of the most complete performances we've seen from a Bears quarterback in decades. He went 19 of 28, threw for 298 yards, added 14 rushing yards, tossed 4 touchdown passes, and finished with a jaw-dropping 142.6 quarterback rating. No interceptions. No mistakes. Just pure control of the game. Think about this, when was the last time Chicago had a quarterback put up numbers like that? It's been far too long. And yet, even with stats this good, there are still critics. But the truth is simple, the numbers don't lie. Williams briefly led the entire NFL in touchdown passes, something no Bears quarterback had done since Sid Luckman back in 1946. He's also the fastest in franchise history to surpass 700 passing yards in a season. And here's the real kicker, over his last 6 games, he has thrown 27 touchdowns and just 1 interception. That's not luck, that's consistency. And it's showing in the offense as a whole. Chicago now ranks 10th in total yards per game at 347, up from last week. They're averaging 233 passing yards, which puts Williams on pace for over 4,500 yards this season. Scoring has climbed to 25.3 points per game, good for 9th in the NFL. Yes, the rushing attack slipped a little, but against a struggling Raiders defense, there's a chance to bounce back. What really matters here is the progression. This entire season was about one question: is Caleb Williams the franchise quarterback Chicago has been waiting for? Week after week, the answer is becoming clearer. And right now, all signs point to yes. The Bears sit at 1-2, though many fans feel they should already be 2-1. Still, despite the record, there's something far more important happening. This offense is beginning to find its rhythm, and head coach Ben Johnson is making it clear that Caleb Williams is at the center of it all. Johnson praised his young quarterback for earning NFC Offensive Player of the Week, but he didn't linger on it. Instead, his focus was on growth. He called Williams a quick study, a player whose comfort level rises each week, and a leader capable of taking the entire offense with him. That's the connection Chicago desperately needed, a true partnership between quarterback and coach. And you can see the evolution week by week. In the opener, Williams relied on his legs and Romo Dunn's flashes to move the ball. By week 2, DJ Moore was getting more involved, though the run game struggled. Then came week 3, and suddenly the tight ends became weapons, with 4 different receivers catching touchdowns against Dallas. That kind of distribution? That's how you know the offense is expanding. It's only been 3 games, but the system is opening up in layers, just as Johnson promised. And if the Bears take care of business against the Raiders, they'll climb right back to .500, carrying confidence into Washington. But what's most impressive isn't just the stats or the schemes, it's Williams' mindset. When asked about the award, his response was simple: cool. Moved on. That's it. No distractions. No celebration tour. Just focus on the next challenge. That mentality, combined with the steady growth of this offense, suggests something bigger. the Bears might only be scratching the surface of what's coming next. Up to this point, everything about the Bears' progress has been encouraging, but not everything coming out of Halas Hall is good news. The first injury report of the week has arrived, and it carries a few surprises Chicago fans weren't expecting. Let's start with linebacker TJ Edwards. Earlier in the day, there was optimism that he might return in time for Sunday's matchup with the Raiders. But when the team hit the practice field, Edwards was nowhere to be found. He did not participate. Now, that doesn't mean he's officially out. There are still 2 more practice sessions before game day, and it's possible he could be limited later in the week. But right now, the safe call might be to rest him rather than risk aggravating the injury. It's a tough blow, considering how important Edwards is to this defense. His presence brings stability in the middle, and without him, the Bears will have to lean even harder on their depth at linebacker. Against a Raiders team that's desperate for a win, every piece of the puzzle matters. This is the reality of the NFL season: progress on one side of the ball, setbacks on the other. The question now is, can the Bears find a way to keep their momentum going, even if key players are forced to sit out? At this point, the smart move feels obvious: let TJ Edwards rest. There's no reason to risk further injury against a struggling Raiders team. This matchup gives Chicago the chance to see what the depth behind him can do, while keeping Edwards fresh for bigger battles ahead, like Washington. Unfortunately, the injury list doesn't stop there. Defensive back Kyler Gordon is still battling a hamstring issue and missed practice again. With Jaylon Johnson already sidelined and expected to undergo abdominal surgery in Philadelphia, the secondary is suddenly stretched thin. Getting even one of those 2 back would be massive, but for now, the Bears are forced to lean on backups. At tight end, Colston Loveland sat out with a hip injury. Ben Johnson has downplayed its severity, but missing practice this close to game day is never ideal. If both Loveland and Cole Kmet end up limited, Chicago may need to call someone up from the practice squad just to have enough bodies at the position. On the defensive front, Grady Jarrett continues to show up on the injury report with a knee issue. The veteran hasn't practiced much over the last 2 weeks, but he's still managed to play. This could be another case of a player getting extra rest, but if there's ever a week to give him a breather, this might be it. And then there's the offensive line, an area the Bears can't afford more problems. With Kieran Magaji already on injured reserve, right tackle Darnell Wright is now dealing with an elbow injury. That could force rookie AZ Trapillo into action sooner than expected. It's not ideal, but it might also be the opportunity Chicago needs to test its depth in the trenches. The bottom line? This injury report is a mixed bag. Some issues are manageable, but others could force the Bears to get creative and quickly. One name to watch closely is Darnell Wright. He didn't practice, and that means the Bears may have to turn to AZ Trapillo or Theo Benedict at right tackle this Sunday against the Raiders. That's a big test for 2 young players, and their ability to hold the line could decide how comfortable Caleb Williams feels in the pocket. There is some good news, though. Defensive back Jaylon Jones, who had been dealing with a hamstring issue, returned in limited fashion. His progress matters not only for depth in the secondary, but also for special teams, an area where his presence has been missed. Running back DeAndre Swift appeared on the injury list with a quad and hip issue. While it doesn't seem severe, it does open the door for Kyle Monangai to show what he can bring to the offense if Swift is limited. And tight end Cole Kmet joined the list with a groin injury. Thankfully, he was limited instead of held out, but it's another situation to monitor closely. Taken together, this is a longer injury list than expected. Some players are trending in the right direction, while others raise real concerns. What's clear is that the Bears will need depth, resilience, and sharp coaching adjustments to get through Sunday and beyond. And that's where things stand heading into the matchup with the Raiders. Caleb Williams continues to rise, the offense is evolving, and despite the injuries, there's an undeniable sense that this team is on the verge of something bigger. The road ahead won't be easy, but if Chicago can keep pushing forward, the future suddenly looks brighter than it has in years.